9 months ago, I set a goal to find the perfect 1968 to 1972 Chevy Nova, to give a forgotten car a second chance at life. I knew this journey would be hard, but I would have never imagined all the places it would take me.
Oh my, that's a field. It's been parked in a field somewhere.
I've seen over 50 unique Novas. Been in magical places where time stands still and experience moments I'll cherish for the rest of my life. I've lived the highest of highs.
Look at that thing. What a dream it would be. That thing looks beautiful to me.
And the lowest of lows.
Now I don't feel good about this at all.
Traveled countless miles in 3 different seasons. From enjoying majestic sunny autumn days to enduring bone-chilling snow skulls during the long winter nights. From what I've experienced in this short time, it can only be described as life-altering. But patience has paid off and new opportunities have surfaced.
So there's a Nova in there somewhere. Yeah, I just saw your photos. Your car looks amazing.
But this search has gone long enough.
Another car graveyard. Wow, so this is like way the hell in here. It's crazy that someone just drove this thing right into the bush a long time ago. So there it is. Obviously, this person doesn't really want it seen, but what do I have to lose? Wow, so I believe we have found our car. It's mid-February and I see light at the end of the tunnel. The snow is slowly starting to melt, spring is around the corner. And that means this adventure is gonna just keep getting more and more interesting. So we're back on the road. We got ourselves an extra large double-double to keep the spirit strong, a little bit of Hortons. It's only been a week since that unfortunate failure with the last Nova that didn't work out. That one took us a month to work on. I got told of a car in somebody's lawn. It's been sitting there for 10 years. It's owned by an older gentleman. And I know what you're saying, it's deja vu all over again. Yes, it's pretty much almost exactly the same situation as last time. The only difference is I know the car isn't abandoned and I'm not gonna try, do some elaborate, letters or messages hoping to get this person, convince them to sell me the car. I'm just gonna see if it's for sale or not, if he's even considering it. All he can say is yes or no, I got nothing to lose at this point. It's just around this bend here. This is some fun driving. Apparently it's just over here somewhere. Covered by some pallets. There it is. So there it is. Obviously, this person doesn't really want it seen, but I know what's under there. Always worth checking out. Like, I know that if someone's put that much effort into hiding it, they probably don't want anyone coming, but at this point, what do I have to lose other than getting screamed at, Let's go take a look. Is there anyone here? Don't see a car, that's not a good sign. What the hell, let's try it. You never know. I always get nervous at this part. So that actually went really well, but it's sold. Oh man, I was 1 year too late. But the guy bought it almost 2 years ago. Wow. Well, should something happen and he doesn't pick it up, they know who to call. But no, I'm not gonna expect that. But that's so cool. Look, you see, look, it was worth going and talking to the person, right? Sometimes being a crazy person, going out of your comfort zone, checking it out, is worth it, right? You just never know till you try. But you know, gotta keep looking. This search is getting pretty exciting, if you ask me. Well, seems like I spoke too soon. Winter is not done with its fury. Not by a long shot, but that's okay because we got lots of other cars that have been appearing, so I think we're gonna check some out. Got word of a local find just here in town. I don't have any information on it. I don't know the year, I don't know the condition, but apparently it's been sitting there for a couple of years just at a local auto garage, so we're gonna check it out and see what it's like. Today's one of those grab the Shih Tzu and go kind of days. Look at the crap we gotta drive through, all the salt and stuff. It's the worst. I don't know much information about this car, but you know what? I'm feeling lucky today. Feeling lucky, so. Apparently it's just around here somewhere, and there it is. Another 78, damn. Well, good thing I wasn't planning on hitting the slots or the blackjack table today. I would have lost everything. Guess my luck wasn't on my side today, but this one's in pretty good shape. A lot better shape than the other one we saw, but it's not the right one. Gotta keep looking. So it's been about 8 months on this crazy journey. I've had a lot of people telling me, you know, Max, why don't you just settle already? Just find a car in marketplace, buy it, and be done with it. The thing is, that's not what this journey is about. I've waited for a long time. I've been avoiding these things. And because I've waited, I've actually started having opportunities now. People have been contacting us in the last little while with opportunities that just aren't available in marketplace. These are not advertised things. So I'll tell you about some things coming up. So if somebody's heard about the story, they have a car sitting in their backyard, they have an SS Nova, and he wants us to come see it in the spring. He says the condition's a little rough. We have to wait till the snow's gone, we'll check it out and we'll see what it's like. Second thing we've had come up is actually really exciting. They have a Nova that's been sitting for 25 years in somebody's backyard in a field. Now the mother-in-law wants to get rid of it. They want to junk it. I don't know the condition of it. If they want to junk it, it's probably in pretty rough shape, but it's definitely worth checking out. The difference here is that they're actually willing to let us check it out first. They're not putting it online and we get first dibs on it. And if we don't want it, we can take parts from it. So this is where patience starts paying off. So there are things, you know, starting to appear here. We're getting messages every day. Got another message from someone named John, somewhere past Toronto. Apparently he has a car, he wants to talk to us. So we got a phone call with him. So we'll check out his car and we'll see what's next. In the meantime, we're just enjoying life, spending some time with the family and relaxing, because that's what life's about.
Hello?
Hey, John.
It is I.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing very well. Yeah, I just saw your photos. Your car looks amazing, actually, believe it or not.
Yeah. Well, I know it's a good car, and that's why I kept it around. It's a 6-cylinder car, like it's not that fast. It's a 1970 Nova. It's not, you know, it's not perfect, but as far as a resto car, this car, I think the guy that owned it, originally owned it, I think he oiled the thing. It's full oil. There must be what saved it because I've looked at a lot of cars. You see there's a picture of a field there, a trailer.
So how long was it in the field for? Because that looks amazing for a car that's been in a field.
Yeah, it does. And then you know what? I don't know exactly. I'll give you a little story. So I had a friend of mine I grew up with and went all through school, and me and him got in lots of trouble together. He got head cancer.
Oh no.
And he needed money. I knew the car was sitting there, and so I said, you know, I've had my eye on Nova for quite some time. Would you be interested in buying? He said, yeah, sure. So I paid him for the car, and we were going to get the ownership changed over, and he died.
Oh man, no way.
So I got a hold of his uncle. He got the car from his uncle, and I got a hold of his uncle, and lo and behold, the ownership was still in his name. So I just got him to sign the ownership, and I got the car put into my name.
Oh wow, that's incredibly lucky.
Yeah, exactly. When I search on YouTube, I'm always searching for Nova. So I came across your video, and like, I'm not a young man anymore. I'm not that old, but I'm fairly old, and I still have a lot of projects laying around.
Okay.
And my kids have been asking me, they say, Dad, you need to get this stuff.
Really?
So when I seen your video, I thought to myself, well, gee, maybe I'll never get this car done. Maybe this is just a pipe dream for me, and I'll never get it done, and it'll never get enjoyed. You know, I'm not totally convinced. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't decided. I don't want to see you end up with a piece of junk. That's for sure.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
And then my wife said to me, she said to me, well, you won't be able to stand watching somebody else build your car. You better not watch it.
Yeah, I totally get you. That's hilarious. Oh man, that's funny.
But anyway, like I said, I haven't decided that I want to sell it yet. I got mixed emotions, but then I seen your channel, and I thought, geez, kind of cool to watch somebody else build it. Just don't buy a piece of shit. We can talk again when, in the spring when it starts getting warm and stuff, and if it's something you decide you want to do and you want to hold on to it, that's totally cool. But if you say, you know what, I want to let it go, then you know who to call. So I know you were looking for a car that has a bit of a story to it. It's got a bit of a story. I wouldn't say it's a drastic story, but it's got a bit of a story to it.
Well, I wanted a field find, to be honest with you. I wanted a car that's someone's not touching for a long time, and you've already done the work, so it does absolutely work, you know what I mean? And it's still untouched, so yeah, it definitely hits all the check marks for sure. I like that stuff. Thanks, John. Listen, you drive safe out there, eh?
Yep. You have a great day.
Take care, man.
Okay, bye.
Wow, so I believe we have found our car. If that's the case, if he wants to sell this thing, this car looks perfect. It's everything we wanted. It was in a field for God knows how long. He pulled it out. He says the pictures say 10 years ago, probably less than that, but he's already done half the work, like I've been looking for cars in fields. Well, he's got one, and it was in a field. And untouched, original, it's in great shape, but still needs everything. It's a 6-cylinder, so it wouldn't be a problem that I would get rid of the engine. The only thing is he just has to make a decision whether he wants to sell it or not, as he said. So, it's still February right now. Still snowing, as you can see, but you know what? We're gonna wait. We're gonna see what happens till the spring, and maybe there's some other options that might also come up, and I think in the spring we'll make a decision. If he says yes to that, I don't think I'll say no to that. The price, the condition, the locations, it's all good. Everything works out. This is really exciting. I'm happy. So spring is here, finally. We had kind of a false start back in February. We thought it was over, and it just came back. And it came back with a vengeance. We got just record amounts of snow. It just threw a wrench in all of our plans. We haven't been able to do anything for this time. For the most part, it's still a frozen wasteland out here, but it is melting. So we haven't filmed for about a month and a half. There have been a lot of developments in the Nova search, and mostly good things, and we had one really bizarre thing happen as well. So I'm gonna kind of give you the story. We'll go downstairs to the war room. I'll kind of give you an update. So after speaking with John, of course I was happy. I was excited. I'd found something that's the perfect car for the project. But the thing is, I didn't stop looking there. Because if I stopped looking and he said no, then I'd be starting all over again. All this time would be wasted. So all this time has gone by and I'd just be sitting around doing nothing. So during this time, I've actually been looking for other cars, and there's been a couple others that have popped up. And at the same time, I didn't want John to have to make a decision based on the fact that this is the only car we found that's good. So doing this journey, putting all this effort in, we're into the 4th season now. We started in summer of last year. We're in spring of 2023 now. I've put all this effort and all this time. I said to myself, I have to put in the maximum effort and find at least a comparable car so that John can make a conscious decision, not based on the fact that, ooh, you know, Max might not be able to find a car, so I feel sorry for him, so I'll say yes. But rather, I want him to say yes and be 100% sure about this. I don't want this to be an emotional decision. I want this to be a 100% confident decision that he wants to pass this on. But the thing is, we have found some other cars, so we're gonna go talk about them right now. So I'll take you over to the war room and show them to you. If you've been watching from the very beginning, you might remember me walking through here, making fun of the dead mice on the walls. Well, since then, everything's been patched up. We renovated the whole room. And why is this important? I'm gonna show you right now exactly what I mean. So check this place out. Now, how cool is that? What used to be a mold-producing mouse hotel has now turned into a pretty nifty little shop. So you might be asking yourself, what relevance does this project have to Nova? It actually has all the relevance in the world. Because the fact is, until this time, we had been slowed down with renovations and we just didn't have enough money to get a car. Whereas now we're finished the renovations, we finished 2 weeks ago, we can now focus our finances into the Nova project, and that means we could finally move on. But before we move on, we gotta find a Nova and make a decision. Unlike John's car, which is very complete, the other cars we've lined up are not so much. So the first car I was contacted about was this green Nova Super Sport. So this is a car I got contacted about back in December, and this is a really wild story. Somebody contacted me, this guy named Peter, and he says he has this car and it's in rough shape and needs a lot of work, but it can be potentially saved. And it's something I can consider if I want to come see it in the spring. So I said, okay. But in the meantime, I had been looking for other cars and I kind of just put it aside, and I decided to, keep going with different ads. And I put up an ad, and all of a sudden I get this picture. Now I look at this picture, I'm thinking to myself, man, that looks awfully familiar. I'm looking at this car and I'm looking at the trees, and it just looks like the same vehicle in the same spot to me. So I contacted the guy and I said, you know what, dude, I think I've seen this vehicle before. Are you the same guy that contacted me on Kijiji? And he said, no. And I said, is the owner's name Peter? He said, no, I've never heard of that guy before. This is my buddy's car. So all of a sudden I got this car, 2 different people, 2 different platforms. So one was off Facebook, one was off Kijiji. And I'm not really sure who owns this vehicle, but this second guy is claiming that the first guy does not own this car. And it just goes to show you how bizarre of a situation gets. You have to be really careful with these type of people. You just don't know who's there to rip you off. So now the second guy's freaking out, like, who's planning on stealing my car, right? So anyways, I'm talking to him and he said, this car really isn't savable. The frame's destroyed, the floor and everything's gone. However, there's a lot of Super Sport parts on it. So if I want to use the parts and put on another car, I could do that. And then another couple cars came up. So another car that came up was this one over here. This is the one that's been parked for 25 years. I finally got some pictures of it. And yeah, it looks rough. And you know what? I'm looking at this thing. I would say this looks like it's been parked more than 25 years. This looks like one of those 40 to 50 year cars. It's just so sunken in. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, you never really know the condition. You have to go see it in person. If the back is somewhat decent, then I'm looking at the front, even though it's missing. Hey, I can contact that first guy that has all the Super Sport parts and use those and complete this car. So this is where using that creative, problem solving is a good idea, because getting, a whole new front clip, that means a front clip is basically, your fenders, your lights, your bezels, everything you need, your rad mount, everything on the subframe, anything basically from the firewall forward. It'd be extremely expensive to replace all that stuff. However, if I buy 2 cars, I can combine them into one. And there's another vehicle that came up too. So this other one, it's out in Winchester somewhere. Now this vehicle has a hell of a story apparently. Got contacted by someone named Noah. He said that his dad drove it here in the 80s and he was gonna restore and everything, had been from the States down south. And he ended up having a family and just never got to it.
and then ended up being taken outside in the year 2000, put out in the field, and kind of just sat from there. And since then, somebody has actually taken the time to steal parts off it, so it's missing the whole front clip. Just another one of those examples of a car that's just, you know, it's rotting away, missing a bunch of parts. However, if you have another car, you can combine that. So I'm thinking to myself, if this is an American car, and I believe it's from California, it could actually be pretty decent in the back. Even though it's been sitting for a while, it was never driven in assault or anything like that, so it could be in pretty decent shape. So I can combine these two vehicles. So now I'm thinking to myself, all of a sudden this, you know, situation with this first car that has all the parts is actually pretty useful, because all those parts are really expensive, and if I can get that, it could really open up a couple opportunities I didn't have before. And then something really bizarre happened. So once again, I'm online looking at different ads and whatnot, and I decided to post an ad, and I used one of the pictures of that green Super Sport, you know, because it's a good looking vehicle. It's kind of like what I'm looking for. And someone contacts me and says, that one's not for sale, because I know who owns that car and he's not selling it. So I don't know what the hell is going on here, why all these people are contacting me about this one car, but this is now 3 people that have contacted me about this one vehicle. So I don't know what the deal is with this car, but somebody's lying here, and I'm just gonna stay away from it. I'm just ditching this thing, moving on to the next one. I'm not trying anymore with this. It just seems to be like a cursed vehicle. So if I decide to look at these 2 other cars and go with one of them, I'm gonna have to find parts somewhere else. So it's possible I'm gonna need another parts car. So this has become a little more complicated than one, not as straightforward as John's. However, those 2 cars are definitely worth checking out. Once we check out these 2 cars, it's really gonna give us an idea of what we have to work with. At the same time, something else might pop up. So now we just have to wait for the snow to go away so we can go look at these other cars, because at the same time, as cool as it is, I know John can just sell his car, and if he doesn't sell it to me, maybe one day he'll sell it or fix it or whatever. I know that car will go somewhere, whereas these 2 other vehicles, they could just go to the scrap. So getting one of those vehicles and kind of saving it, I think that'd be that's a hell of a story, you know, at the same time. But John's vehicle, it's really the holy grail. It would be the perfect vehicle, but nothing's for sure. So I gotta go check out these other 2 cars. We're expecting our second baby any day now. We're done our renovations, so now I'm just praying to God that everything goes well with the birth, because once the birth comes, depending how that goes, we can start getting a vehicle. You know, I'm really excited. I love being a dad. It's one of the things that brought me in this journey in the first place. Having my son, it's the greatest happiness in my life. And having a second one, either a son, or boy or girl, we don't know. It's gonna be really exciting. And I just can't wait to see what's gonna happen.
That's your brother.
My baby brother.
Look, Lex. Is that your baby brother, Dax?
Hi.
Baby. So here he is, baby Dax and another boy. I'm just so happy and so thankful everything went well. Just to have this guy in the world, it's the greatest thing in the world for me. But the person I'm most proud of in this journey is my wife. You know, my wife went through absolute hell. You know, we went through going through a miscarriage, to having a C-section, to doctors telling us, you know, that she almost didn't make it because of all the blood loss, to her having the determination saying, I want a natural birth, I want to do it without anesthetics, no epidural, nothing. And she worked her butt off for months and months, researching, taking the time, doing as much as she can, walking, all these things. I'm just so proud of her. She's the strongest woman I know. And that kind of determination is the determination I want to have in this Nova project. Now, the Nova is not as important as childbirth. It never will be. But it just goes to show that's somebody I look up to as my wife because of her hard work and dedication. That's the same thing we're doing in this car. This is the whole reason I'm doing this journey. You know, my kids, it reminds me of my brother and I growing up, you know, 2 boys as well. We spent all the time in the world together, and we were both really into cars. And it just seems like deja vu with these 2 little guys. I could just see them having a lot of fun together. Call me selfish. One day I would just love to have them grow up and show the car to their friends and say, you know, Dad built that car, Dad restored that car. Have something that could just bring them back to their childhood. I just think it'd be really cool. Cars are nostalgic time capsules. They link us to meaningful periods of times in our lives. I know this better than anyone with my 1988 Jeep Cherokee. I've had this vehicle for more than half of my life. And I spent nearly 2 decades restoring it with my dad. And even bring it to one of the most important days of my life, my wedding.
Heck, it brings me back to my early 20s, just figuring out life, spending time with my brother, traveling the Maritimes, and creating memories that will be significant for the rest of my life. I think it's time to get this journey wrapped up. It's time to start moving on to the next bar. You know, we've been looking for quite a while now, and it's been such an honor and privilege to see all these different cars and check out these stories and all these vehicles, and it's been such an amazing journey. But I'm ready to pick one, so we're gonna go see these last cars, and it's time to make a decision, pick a vehicle, and start this project.
All right, we're on our way, and it's a beautiful spring day. Look at this. A week ago, we still had 3 feet of snow. We actually had an ice storm. And then all of a sudden, it went from, minus 10 degrees to plus 27, 80 degrees Fahrenheit in only a couple days, and everything melted. That's crazy. This is Canada for you, man. This is the weather we get. You just never know. Anyway, so we're gonna go check out this car that's been standing for, I don't know, 25 years, they say. I think it's more than that, judging by the picture, but we're gonna see. And I'm pretty excited to go, and we'll go check this thing out. It's really bittersweet because as much as I'm ready to end this journey of searching and get the car already, I'm really gonna miss this whole, hunt, thrill of the hunt. It's been really cool. You get to do a lot of cool things that a lot of people don't get to do. Like the other day, I just went to like a farmer's field that had a bunch of cars there, and I was just talking to the owner. Their family had been there for over 200 years. He ended up having a 66 GTO. And you just hear all these stories and everything, and how they built the house and everything, all these different cars they owned, and it's just so cool. And like this guy was probably 80 some years old, so these people won't be around forever. So getting all those stories and everything, it's just really cool. It's the same thing with these cars, right? You're preserving history in a way, so it's really exciting. But we are ready to move on. We'll go check this car out. We're gonna see what this car looks like, and hopefully we're lucky, because you never know what it could be. So this is the road. I was told to look for a red truck. I was not given an address or any other details. And that looks like it's the one. All right. All right, there we go. This is awesome. All right, let's take a look here. Okay, so do you know how long it's been here for?
This property has been in the family for probably about 35 years, and it was there before. This area, or this part, did not get hit by the May storm last year. It went around, but it did not really touch this property here. This is from the ice storm.
Wow.
I think we're gonna go through here.
Wow. I like how you brought the little chainsaw.
Yeah.
Wow, so this is like way the hell in here. We've been walking for at least 5 minutes into the bush. So someone just drove this thing right into the bush a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Wow. It's crazy that somebody at some point took a 2-wheel drive car and drove it through here. I can't tell you the amount of times I've seen a car and it's like, oh, somebody drove into the middle of nowhere just to retire it. I don't know why that seems like a thing. Like, I'm gonna bring it to a humanly inaccessible area.
It's right there.
This is the part where your heart starts beating.
Well, your heart, mine not.
My heart, I know. Here. Wow. Holy. I'd be willing to say this car's been here for at least 40 years. Easy.
I would believe it.
Yeah, long time.
It's pretty lucky. Nothing ever falls on it.
How the hell nothing hit that in all these years? is beyond me. Yeah. I'll go
To me, it belongs in a cemetery.
No, I hate to say it, but I think this thing is a little past done. I don't think this could be saved. Yeah, I don't know. Patricia, I think you were right. I think it is past saving. It's not, I don't know, miracles are possible, but I just don't see that happening on this. All right. I think it's safe to say that neither I nor anybody is saving this car. That's just too far gone. You know, miracles are possible, but you can't save that. Which is too bad because, you know, it's one of those cars that you know that if I don't save it, no one else will. It goes to the crusher, and that's unfortunately what's gonna happen. There's nothing that can be saved in that car, but on to the next.
I used to have a job, but I got laid off. I used to have a wife, but she said she had enough. I used to have a car, but it got repossessed. It seemed the Lord had found someone he likes to test. I've lost all a man could lose, that's why I sing the blues.
All right, so here we are, checking out this car. No, this place is freaking cool, man. You got fire trucks and all this different stuff here.
I was gonna say, that's a spare Bronco.
Spare Bronco, yeah, you got a couple Broncos here. Two fire trucks.
2 Jeeps.
2 Jeeps, wow. I don't know anybody that has a fire truck or 2. Are they both yours?
This is all my old man stuff, actually. That one was a weird one, kind of a auction deal. The other one,
Yeah.
he actually had to fix the house.
Okay.
Had to do some roof work. We have an extremely tall peak.
Okay.
So he went ahead and bought it because it's got the ladder on top.
Oh, wow.
It works.
Works, that's a smart way of doing it.
All right, so yeah, it's kind of buried.
Okay, so there's a Nova in there somewhere. So what's the story on this car? Like, what happened to it? You mentioned briefly that you had some thieves.
So yeah, it had a front clip, full front clip at one point. Like when I was a kid, it was full front clip.
Okay, so someone stole like all the fenders and...
Yeah, actually it was we used to own land across the road, and so it was kind of like a barn in beside a barn, so nobody went over there and checked, and yeah, I guess somebody needed the front end to like a 70s Nova.
Well, they're pretty rare at this point too, and
like you can see by the body, like the actual panels, aside from the surface rust, like
yeah,
the panels were in okay shape.
Compared to a lot what I've seen, it's not bad.
Like I said, it came up from the States.
Yeah, so you said your dad drove it up here, eh?
Yeah, I'm positive he took it up here because he had one down in Florida when he went to school.
Okay. Interesting. How you doing?
You meet the man himself.
That's the man himself. How you doing, boss? I'm Max.
Right.
Nice to meet you. You drove this up from the States?
I drove it when I was in the States.
In the States, okay.
I bought it when I lived in Florida in '89.
Okay.
It's a custom, so it had all the trim pieces at the bottom.
Yeah.
It had the trim that went down here.
Wow.
And then it had a vinyl roof.
Okay. Yeah, because
So customs had vinyl roofs, bucket seats. They were like halfway between a normal and an SS.
Okay, they didn't hide the welds for the roof skin when they had the vinyl.
Vinyl roof.
Yeah.
You didn't have to finish that extra piece.
No. This is 73 or 74, right?
74, yeah.
I noticed that by the windows here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but you can actually put a front clip of a 68 to 72 on it.
Yep, they were all the same. That was the cool thing about these, is that you could kind of morph them one way or the other way, whatever you wanted to do.
Okay.
Because by 74, pretty much every car that was sold in the South had air.
Okay. It's not in bad shape, to be honest with you. No, even the firewall is usually like pretty gone. Most of the ones I've seen.
Things got changed, so it went into the barn and it stayed there.
Well, you had a kid 2 years later.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It seems to happen a lot.
Kids and kids and kids.
Yeah.
And then it just got parked, and that was the end of it.
On this journey, one phrase I've heard more than anything is good luck. To that I say to hell with luck. Luck is being born in the right part of the world with all your health. I see it more as opportunity, and success is a byproduct of a person's character. It's easy to doubt a crazy idea, and it's even easier to give up on one. You have to have vision to identify opportunity, courage to pursue an idea, fortitude to keep going when it gets difficult, and perseverance to stick to your plan. Then, and only then, will you achieve success. And I hope this crazy journey inspires others to do the same. Another car graveyard. You know, in these past 10 months, I think I've spent more time at these kind of places than anywhere else. You know, I made it my goal to find a 1968 to 72 Chevy Nova, and I spent 10 months looking all over Ontario and Quebec. Noah's 74 Nova will be restored. Someone's gonna do it, but it's not gonna be us. That project was just a little bit too much for us to handle. At the same time, it's just the wrong year. We have to be true to our cause. We have to go with the right year, so we just had to pass that car on. But that car was solid. Truly could be saved. It's really exciting to know that that car's gonna go somewhere. It's not gonna go to the crusher. Somebody is gonna bring it back from the dead. This is one of those journeys in life that I don't think I'll soon forget. But this journey has to come to an end, or at least the search does. I put my best effort trying to find more of these, and we've seen a lot of cars, but it just seems like every car we see, you know, it's like a party I missed by 20 or 30 years. They're just not savable. So John's is really the only one that's worth saving in my mind. And I really wanted to find a comparable car to John's, so I looked everywhere, far and wide. And just to be honest, and it's not for lack of trying, there just aren't any cars out there like that. Like he said, all these cars have been gobbled up. It's really rare to find a car like this. So although I wasn't able to find any other cars that were comparable, I was actually able to speak with John. Spoke to John, and he's agreed to let the car go. This is the diamond in the rough that I was talking about right at the beginning. This is the car. I feel really honored, really thrilled that he's gonna be passing these on to us, and it's a real privilege to be able to be working on this car. So we finally found our car. We're gonna be going to pick it up, and I'm just really excited to get this thing going. This is a real dream come true, and I'm just really thankful that John contacted us with this vehicle. It's just gonna be a way to preserve history, and it's time to start a new legacy. Give this car a second chance at life. If the rest of this journey is anything like the search was, this is gonna be one hell of a ride.